Mr. and Mrs. North and South American, all the ships at sea, let's go to press.
Here we go.
Here now from the Crystal Cruises mobile studio with all of today's cruise and travel news and a bit of commentary. It's the guru of the seas himself, Tom Drake.
It is indeed himself on this Tuesday, July 28, 2026. It is day two of the social media experiment. If you're just finding me on Facebook or YouTube or probably later on today on Twitch, I've decided to take this podcast further into cyberspace. Now, for the people that have been loyal for over 1,000 podcasts, it is still available every morning at 8 a.m. on all the major platforms. You can always find it at thedrakepodcast.com, but it's also available later on in the morning on social media, and the idea is to spread the word for the people that have been denied all this information, all this joy, all this fun, all this indigestion. You'll be able to see it happen. We are in a new studio. It's not like I moved across town. I moved to another part of the house because the front of the house, what was my office, now the president of Best T's office, it was a mess, and I didn't like the way it looked. I didn't want Dottie to have to see it, all this equipment everywhere. You can't imagine how much crap is involved in putting this little rinky-dink show together. So we moved into a middle room. I share it with a bunch of other stuff. Let's put it that way. We all have one of those rooms in the house, don't we? Anyway, welcome. More information than you needed. It is the podcast. I am the podcaster, and you are the podcastees, and that is the Drake, and that is the official mascot. And again, there'll be some regurgitation of information that everybody's heard many, many times. The reason for the duck is 30 plus years ago, I was on the radio in Fort Myers, Florida, with a show called Drake in the Morning. I had a team of a comedian, a newsreader, a sportscaster. It was a little Don Imus back when satellite radio was just beginning. I just missed like everything else. And one of my listeners then, loyal as they are now, drew a cartoon of a duck with big glasses reading the newspaper. And that has been my logo for most of my life. I've been just looking like a duck reading the newspaper. So that's why we have that sound effect. And why I told you that, I don't know. There's no we here. There's me and a bunch of equipment. We'll work on this ahead of time. We just kind of make it up as we go along. It is a social media experiment. It is a work in progress, very much like getting a toilet put in Jersey. It takes a little time. There's rules involved. It's not easy, but hang in there. I think today I'm lit better. I'm looking straight ahead at the camera, and I can see myself, and I'm a little chunky, but I'm going to see the doctor at 9 a.m. for the bigger dose of Wegovy, because as you get older, I'm lazy. My wife walks 3 miles a day. I walk 2 miles a day. That's why I'm rushing. I have to get this done. I'm not Russian. I'm from Ireland background. I have to get this done so I can go for the walk with the wife. It's when you're home now, it's this.
Tradition!
That's what we do. For many years on ships, the wife had to go to work, and I rolled over. Now we get up, we're retired, and we do stuff. So I'll see the doctor. And that's about all we have to talk about to start out, other than to say, once again, thank you for the likes, the links, the shares. Raquel, my friend Raquel, sent me a bunch of stories. I have a new stringer, and there's the number one stringer. There's Lenny, and Barbara, Eddie G, everybody. Let me explain. I have people that send me links to stories. I look at those stories, and some make the cut and some don't, and that's what we talk about. We talk about the news of the cruise and travel industry, hotels, car rentals, and other pieces of crap that I complain about. Basically, a very important part of the podcast. Every day I ask you to say prayers for the men and women, the boys and the girls of the military. They put on the uniform, polish up their weapons, they get out on the front line, and we sometimes forget. We do live in the greatest country in the world. I don't know that I can play this stuff anymore. One of the negatives to joining, I don't see it anyway. One of the negatives to joining, what is it? Oh, I guess I could use gunshots. Social media is that YouTube is very strict about copyright laws, and that's probably not copyrighted. I believe I got that when I was in Chicago one time. I just recorded it on my iPhone. I'm kidding. It was Detroit. Seriously, I can't play a lot of what I used to play on social media. I have to figure that out. Even this, my opening song, this one. Whoop, hold on.
Who
Well, that's not it.
Pass judgment on thigh.
Yeah, who am I?
I talk to the wall by and by.
Yeah,
Who
big
am
wall.
I am the guru of the sea.
That's me.
That's who is I.
I love those guys. This song, I own that. I purchased it. And boy, did YouTube put me through the ringer like I went for a proctology exam to prove that that belonged to me because they said I was violating copyright. This is my song. Leave me alone. That's all I want to say. But anyway, prayers to the men and women, the boys and girls of the military. I've, over the months, talked about the Suez Canal, the fact that none of the governments and the gas bags from the EU, no one can get the Suez Canal open again, safe again. It interrupts our world cruises, interrupts our vacations. That's what bothers Americans more than anything. Not the fact that the world is going to hell in a handbasket. We just can't take the shortcut to Europe. That's very frustrating. So prayers for the men and women, the boys and girls in the military. I mentioned Steel, T2T.org. It gets me every day. It is Tunnel to Towers. I recommend you go on the site and send them $11 a month. It's a wonderful organization, and right now they are around the United States with a piece of the Twin Towers, reminding everybody about 9/11, which happened 25 years ago. Let's see now. I should tell you that we do have a company called Best at Sea Tours. It's a world-famous travel company, incredibly busy right now with a lot of hosted cruises. You can visit our website, bestatseatours.com, or if you want, you can listen to this lady.
Hi everyone, it's Dottie from Best at Sea Tours, and I'd love to personally invite you to something very special. Over the course of my career in the cruise industry, I've been fortunate enough to celebrate New Year's Eve more than 25 times, and what I've learned is this: there's something truly magical about welcoming a new year at sea. There's a feeling you can't quite describe. The ocean all around, the stars above, music in the air, and laughter shared with friends. It's joyful, it's elegant, and it's filled with hope for the year ahead. And the best part, everything is taken care of. No traffic, no dinner reservations to juggle, just time to relax, celebrate, and be fully present in the moment. Join Tom and me for a beautiful 11-day New Year's Eve cruise beginning December 30th, 2026 aboard the stunning Crystal Symphony. We'll sail round trip from Fort Lauderdale to sun-drenched Caribbean islands with sparkling blue waters, gentle sea breezes, warm smiles, and the kind of peaceful beaches that make you slow down and savor life. On New Year's Eve, we'll gather together, count down as one, and welcome 2027 surrounded by friends. Because when you travel with Best at Sea, you're not just booking a cruise, you're joining a family. Come cruise, come celebrate, come make beautiful memories with us. For more information, please visit www.bestatseatours.com or call 866-723-7874 to reserve your spot. We look forward to celebrating New Year's Eve with you.
What he left out of that little promo is the quality of the guests that are joining us. Here's the deal. We have 18 of us, but we have 2 reservations in the vintage room. This is a room that costs now, they just raised the price. It's $660 a couple, but it's included in this cruise, paid for by Best at Sea Tours. And it's a spectacular evening of fine food and wine and champagne pairing. And I'm a drinker, not a foodie. We all loved it. We did it on the Serenity. We loved it. We have a couple of seats at the table, actually 4 now, seats at the table. So we invite you to check out all that information available on the Best at Sea Tours, or you can call us at 866-723-7874, 866-723-7874. And let's be honest, every New Year's you go, what do you want to do, honey? We go to the neighbors? Oh, please. And how long are you going to stay there? And you don't stay up, and you don't celebrate. You know, you only have one life. You only have one chance. Come and join us. I'm not begging. I'm telling you, you're missing out. And listen, I won't lose any sleep if you're not there, but you should think about joining us. Brooks is part of the team here. He handles crime. And this might be a crime. It might not be a crime. As a bit of an overview, there are many websites that are dedicated to the travel industry and news. That's how this got started. I saw something called Cruise Radio on YouTube. It's about 6 minutes every day. I forget the guy's name. He stands in front of a camera and he tells you what this happened, that happened. They show a video of a whale, another one of a ship, another one of a pier, and then that's it. And it's incredibly boring, but it's useful. If you don't want to listen to me, it's useful. I said, well, let's expand it like my waistline. And that's how this happened. And then AI came into my life, artificial intelligence. And with that came a team of readers that read better than I do, and to make it easier for me, because otherwise I would have to talk the entire time, and I have help. And I go to sites like Travel Weekly News, Cruise Industry News, I should say Travel Weekly, and I look at those and I kind of clip some information, put together a story, and the boys and the girls read it. This is from the Cruise Hive, and they're always interesting and always half the story.
Good morning, Guru.
Hey, babe.
Happy second day on YouTube.
Yeah, whatever.
Here is a story from our friends at the Rat Blog.
Yeah.
Guru, they should probably change their name from Cruise Hive to Cruise Conjecture. A crew member aboard Disney Dream was hospitalized after allegedly being poisoned by a fellow employee, according to Spanish authorities. The incident occurred on Friday, July 24th, when the ship arrived in Vigo, Spain. Local reports say a female crew member became ill and was first treated on board. She reportedly told the ship's medical staff that someone had tampered with her water bottle before she was taken to a local hospital for further evaluation. After being released, the Argentine crew member filed a complaint with Spain's national police, alleging she had been poisoned and identifying another crew member as a possible suspect. Authorities later boarded the Disney Dream to investigate. The water bottle has been seized and will be tested to determine whether it contained a toxic substance. So far, no arrests have been made, and officials have not released the identities of those involved. Disney says the investigation is ongoing, normal operations aboard the ship have continued, and there is no danger to guests or other crew members.
That's good to know. Everything's going to be just Mickey Mouse. Now, here's the deal. This is why I do this. You'll see this headline, crew member poisoned, allegedly poisoned, and you'll wonder what's going on. Oh, I'm not taking a cruise. They poison people on a cruise. First, let's start with the narrative that they hide everything in the cruise industry. They put it under the carpet, or they put it in the water bottle. That doesn't happen. In this case, obviously, she would even bother dealing with the security on board the ship. She went right to the Spanish police and filed a report. Now, she better be right. I don't know how it works in Spain, and I'm not blaming her. I'm not bottle shaming this young girl. If she was poisoned, she was poisoned. They said, again, conjecture. It might have been chlorine. Why did it smell like chlorine? How did you tell? Does someone have a tester? This stuff is such a crock sometimes, but it gets out into social media. It'll be all over reels, and people will tell other people, you hear what happened? They poisoned somebody on Disney. We don't know that they poisoned anybody. We don't know that it's chlorine. This seems like it's a dispute between two crew members, and one in particular is from Argentina, and they're very high-strung there. That genetic background, and they're mad. They lost the World Cup. She's not happy. It's the one thing that couples will fight over, absolutely, will be the World Cup. Now, if it turns out the alleged poisoner was from Spain and she's from Argentina, we have a World Cup situation right here. They're going to have to dig in, have a full-blown inspection. Bottom line is, I'm sure I can tell you this. I am telling you that the general manager of that ship is not happy that she didn't come to him first and say, listen, I think she went right to the police. I won't tell you there'll be any retribution, because there can't be. If Disney decides that girl's not coming back, that'll be all over social media. If they find out that this guy actually put chlorine in her bottle, maybe she had bad breath. Oh, shut up, Tom. Just absolutely don't go any further than that. Where's this one? Where's the moron when I need it? I can't find anything this morning. That's right. I mentioned this yesterday. I have all this equipment in front of me, and none of it I can look at the camera and use it at the same time. Anyway, here is the story. You're going to see it in the news. Crew member poisoned on Disney. As you dig deeper, look further into the story, you're going to find out, in my opinion, something happened in the crew bar, or this guy is now dating someone else. Stranger things have happened. I am not here to show for the cruise lines. I'm here to dig into these stories and see if we can find out what's true and what's not true. Why would I do it? Well, look at Cruise Hive. They're very successful, and they always have half the story. So why should I not join them? So that's what I think. All right. The other person that helps me out here, why am I pointing at you people? You people, pay attention to me. I have a wonderful woman. Her name is Reese. She's not real. And she's so much fun because these are AI voices. I will give it away like a magician that gives you up the trick. And this particular voice, Reese, is uncontrollable. All of my voices, I have 2 separate companies, are controllable. I can have them whisper. I can have them yell. I can have them be happy. I can have them be sad. Reese, I can't do a damn thing. It's like being married. It's like being married. You know, when you're having a conversation and suddenly the wife starts screaming for no apparent reason.
Good morning, Guru. Happy Tuesday.
Yeah.
I hope you are enjoying being in front of the camera now.
Thrilled.
Our first story should probably get you fired up.
All right.
JetBlue is giving its premium cabin a makeover and borrowing a page from its competitors. The airline's domestic first-class cabin will soon be called Blue First, and like Delta and United, JetBlue will begin selling a stripped-down basic first-class fare. Passengers will have 3 choices: Flex, Standard, and Base. Flex offers refundable tickets. Standard provides travel credits if you cancel. And Base is the budget option. Base passengers won't be able to pick a seat in advance, will pay a fee to change flights, and will earn fewer TrueBlue loyalty points. JetBlue is also introducing a base fare for its even more extra legroom economy seats, while its regular economy cabin is getting a new name. Core will become Main, with the same 3 fare options: Base, Standard, and Flex. The new booking platform begins rolling out in the coming days, while the new Blue First cabins are expected to appear gradually later this year.
All right, this story, and again, let me beat a dead horse. I love these stories. Let's just start with names. We used to sit in first class, right? We used to sit in economy. That was it. Now, like Delta, there's a Delta Premium Select, and there's not such a collect. It's a little bit premium, and there's this and there's that. Do we really need to say, did someone, I got an idea. I just had 3 cups of coffee. We're going to call first class Blue First. You blew. You get off the plane. How was first? It blew. That's what happened. That's the first thing that's going to happen. These names are just stupid. I'm not saying anything you didn't already think yourself, and I have no idea why thousands of people enjoy this podcast. I don't. I'm just kidding. It's so much fun. All the names, all the choices, it all boils down to the same thing. And normally this time I play Money, Money, Money from the Broadway musical, but I'm under a lot of scrutiny, so we'll all sing it. Money, no. They're all about chasing the almighty dollar. Now, the second thing that came to mind after Blue First was, isn't this airline in financial difficulty? That's why they were merging with Spirit, because they're on the balls. They were not doing well. Well, I went online because you got to love AI. And the bottom line is, yes, they're not teetering on towards bankruptcy. They're leaning that way. They're cash strapped. And this is all about strapping some more cash. It's all about making money. And at the end of the day, all of this happened because the judge in Boston wouldn't allow a merger. We have one less discount airline. This is no longer a discount airline. This is now called by people in the industry. And you know how much I love ultra luxury, and all these other fakakta names. It's a premium value airline. According to analysts, this is not discount, but they offer premium value. And according to what I read, Wall Street was upset that they wouldn't charge more for what, in other words, they were giving their customers too much stuff. It was too good. They weren't charging enough. Well, guess what? You get people to come back because it's reasonably priced and you get a lot. Well, they fixed that. Now you're not going to get squat. It's going to be the same as what they call legacy airlines. And that would be Delta, American. Alaska Air is now considered a legacy airline. This is considered a premium value airline. This is just a larger version of nickel dime. This is $1, $2, $5. Everything is going to be extra. Everything's going to cost more. And that's one less discount option. I asked AI, who am I and who are the discount airlines? Avilo, Breeze, Allegiant, And Frontier sometimes. Frontier also has the big seat. And I've said this 100,000 times. If this airline is flying direct, I'm going. You can call it whatever you want. I don't fly JetBlue anymore because I fly out of Orlando. If I'm flying Orlando to New York City, I'm not on JetBlue. I'm on Delta in LaGuardia. Better price. Delta first into LaGuardia is a better price than JetBlue Blue first. So they're making a mistake. They're chasing people over to Delta or American. Depending on where you come from, you're better off. If it's a nonstop flight, if it's got to go through a hub, and they also have the Mint. Now, again, I probably am boring you with telling you all this, but you didn't know about this until you listened to this podcast. And now you know. When you go on JetBlue, bring your attorney and bring your accountant because they have to figure out exactly whether you're getting your money's worth for all the, we got flex, you got standard, you got base, you on one. Hello, what a pleasure. This is Jackie Mason. If you have flex, that's refundable. If you have standard, you get travel credits. If you have base, well, you're screwed. You're in the back. You're sitting next to somebody you don't need it. Move on.
Guru, maybe you can get booked on this boat.
What?
If not, as the comedian, maybe as a suite host.
Be careful.
Aman at Sea announced that their first ship, Amangati, was successfully floated out of the T. Mariotti shipyard in Genoa. Now that the exterior is complete, the ship will move to the outfitting quay in Genoa, where the interior will be
We
completed.
know how this works.
The
Move on.
23,000 gross ton cruise ship will
Baby.
carry just 94 guests in 47 suites and have 207 crew members. All guests will have a dedicated suite host assigned to take care of them throughout the voyage. Even though there will only be a maximum of 94 guests on the ship, Amangati will have 4 signature restaurants. They are Alira, Mediterranean, Akari, Japanese, Hiyori, Teppanyaki, and Aman Grill. Social spaces on Amangati include the Jazz Club, Cigar Lounge, Alira Pool Bar, the bar at Aman Grill, Solora, and Cinema. The ship will provide direct access to the ocean with the marina on Deck 3. It will have 2 floating platforms and a curated fleet of water toys. Solora, the adjacent waterfront lounge. 4 limousine tenders and 2 open sport tenders will ferry guests to shore as the ship visits many spots that larger vessels are unable to go. As you say, in Jersey suites will start at $8 large per night.
$8,000 per night on the Aman Gotti. It sounded like John Gotti when she first read it. She read it wrong. It was like their first ship called the John Gotti. I said, well, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? I put this in because it caught my eye. I was interested because of the size. This truly is a yacht. This really is, as opposed to, the Four Seasons and the Ritz-Carlton. They're getting bigger, they're growing, they're sprinkling Viagra on the hull, and they're getting larger. This is a baby ship. Expensive, but they have 4 restaurants, but they don't have an Italian restaurant. I don't think they're catering to people in the United States. I think they're catering to people in the Middle East and to Europe and other places like that, Asia. Based on the fact that it looks like there's more. They got Japanese, and they got 2 Japanese restaurants, 1 Mediterranean restaurant, which means it's couscous. And couscous is like a combination of rice, grits, and shredded bingo cards. I could never understand why anybody would eat that. But I put it in because Carlos Ortega used to work for Oceania and was part of that NCL purge. And after 19 years, left the company. Very much like if you're following the ESPN layoffs, when they're laying off people that have 35, 33 years with the company, and again, just kiss off, get out of here. That happened over at Oceania. And he's with this company, and it looks cool. And I put it in there. For the people that want small and quiet, this seems like a good day. And plus $8,000 a night, it's per person, I would think. That's pretty pricey. There better be good restaurants for that kind of money. I don't think I'll be hosting any cruises there anytime soon. I don't think they do groups. I don't see a youth program. There aren't any kids on board. And maybe they're going to get that demographic that will actually use those floating platforms. I've never heard of a limousine tender before. I've been on tenders where guys drove it like a taxi cab driver. I've never been on a limousine tender. I've been more than a few tenders banging off the side of the key because the guy was driving it like an Egyptian cab driver in New York City. But it's the first I've ever heard of a limousine tender.
Guru, can you say nickel dime in German?
No.
Here's a Hootspa story from Cruise Fever.
Utzpah?
If you've ever tried finding a good seat at a cruise ship show just 10 minutes before curtain, you know exactly what happens. The best seats are already reserved with flip-flops, sweaters, or a purse, saving spots for friends who haven't even arrived yet. Officially, most cruise lines don't allow seat saving, but we all know it happens, and it can lead to some uncomfortable confrontations. Now, one cruise line is trying something different. Germany's TUI Cruises is testing paid premium seating aboard Mein Schiff 7. Passengers can pay for Showtime Front Row, which guarantees the best seats in the front row, or Showtime Plus, which includes premium seats a little farther back, plus a complimentary glass of champagne or a signature cocktail.
Pinch me.
For now, it's just a trial. But if passengers like it, and it makes money, TUI could expand the program across its fleet. Meanwhile, cruise lines like Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, and Disney rely on advance reservations through their apps. Miss out, and you may find yourself in the standby line 15 minutes before showtime. The good news? In my experience, standby often still gets you into the show, especially if you aren't picky about where you sit.
There's a word for what we're witnessing today, and that word is chutzpah.
There's a Yiddish word for those Republican complaints.
Oh, whatever.
Chutzpah.
Chutzpah.
There's a Yiddish word for that, chutzpah.
All right. First of all, I'm surprised by this. I will tell you that I'll be on Princess in October, and I will be one of the comedians on board. And I go there because, for the most part, the first seating, 8:30, is full. The second seating is never full. The idea that people will pay money to have front row seats for a production show on a ship. Now, remember, this is a German cruise line. Nobody is better than trying to save deck chairs than the Germans. The Germans have made a science out of getting out there early and upsetting by the Brits by sticking their towel down and coming back 9 hours later. Courtesy and the German language, not really hand in hand. And I asked AI to give me some of the shows they have on the Mein Schiff people, and they had to see if I would pay 16 euros to sit down front. One of the shows they have is the Woman of Rock anthems featuring female vocalists. Well, come on. Are you serious? Another one's called Wild Cards. It's a contemporary production mixing music, dance, virtual effects, knockwurst, bratwurst, and fart sound. No, I made the last part up. The reality is they do Broadway cabaret. They have something called Flick Flack. It's an acrobatic production created with the famous German circus company, featuring high-energy stunts and aerial acts. Are you paying money to sit down front to see a guy swing by on a ship? Not unless he falls off. And, it's chutzpah. Somebody thinks they can get away with it. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. On MSC, they have the regular theater, then they have one you pay tickets to see a show. Are you serious? A show on a ship? I'm sorry. I'm a little jaded. That's not the word. I'm a little hard. That those shows are just a trickery. When you go see these massive production shows, you think you're seeing Broadway or the West End. You're seeing a couple of singers that can sing, and the rest of the people are lip syncing. The rest of the people the music is on tracks. They have a 22-piece orchestra in the studio somewhere. You go, that was the best show I ever saw. It wasn't a show. You could have watched it on TV. Oh, yeah, they're sweating. They're running around. They're dancing. And my apologies to the people that are in these shows, but the reality is it's not really traditional theater. And to pay extra money to see fakery, is that a word? Trickery, fakery, tomfoolery, anything with E at the end? I don't know. I wouldn't do it. But, then again, maybe you've always wanted to see Flick Flack before the big burst of light in the sky there. When I watch myself talk this stupid, I wonder why I'm on social media. And why do I say that? Because deep down inside, I'm terribly honest.
Guru, as shocking as this may be to your devoted listeners,
What?
you might have been wrong about this operation.
Your ass.
If you've ever dreamed of living on a cruise ship, Villa V Residences is expanding. The company has announced plans for a second residential cruise ship called Legacy, scheduled to begin sailing in early 2029. Villa V hasn't revealed which ship it will acquire, but says Legacy will feature residences about 50% larger than those on the current Villa V Odyssey, along with more dining options, bigger public spaces, expanded wellness facilities, and upgraded luxury amenities. The announcement comes as Odyssey has already sold more than 85% of its residences, leaving limited inventory for new buyers. To bridge the gap until 2029, the company is introducing a Legacy Bridge program. The first 24 new buyers who purchase by September 30th, 2026, can move aboard Odyssey immediately and later transfer to a comparable residence on Legacy without paying an additional purchase price. They'll even keep Odyssey's lower monthly maintenance rates after moving to the new ship. It's an interesting way to reward early buyers while building excitement for the next generation of residential cruising.
Or, unless you're like me, the first ship is falling apart. The first ship, allegedly, it took them months to get it out of dry dock. They couldn't find a drive shaft. It was an old ship, the lipstick on a pig. And at the time I said, would you invest your life savings, pull out your IRA, sell your house on a ship that was 30 plus years old, 33, 34, and join a company that has never been in existence before? Now it looks like I'm wrong, but maybe not that wrong. All right. Maybe, I don't know. I look for stories about people saying the food isn't any good, the service isn't any good, and I don't see it. But then again, the people that would do this in the first place, I think, are easily pleased. You're not sailing Oceania, Crystal, major luxury lines and moving over there and you're happy. But I'm happy for, his name is Mikkel Peterson, because he has a separate company now that he's doing luxury. Who did he grab? Did he grab Regent? I can't remember. Or Oceania. You will see on Facebook a picture of this ship. It looks to me like an old Holland America ship. I could be wrong, but it sure looks like it. It's not Oceania when I see the build outside. But I think, first of all, it's a way to get people. They're not interested in the Odyssey. They've toured it. Are you kidding me? But hold on. If you buy now, then the Odyssey will move you to the new one when the new one's ready. Well, you pay us now to go on to an empty cabin on that old ship. And then when the new old ship is ready, we'll move you over there. But in the meantime, you're going to live in the empty old cabin that we have over here. If you dig down deep, I'm not too sure. But boy, oh boy, I can't get one. I have one sponsor for this podcast. I haven't asked anybody else. But this guy's unbelievable. And I normally play Barnum. But again, I'm under the gun. I think what I'm going to end up doing is doing two different podcasts. One I'll do with straight audio that I can play games with music and drops. And the other one I will do on social media, and it'll have more bells and whistles that are legal. And all of that is not important to anybody that's listening to me this morning. But if you know me, you know I just say the first thing that comes to my mind, and we worry about it later on. All right, let's try to get out of here one piece. How about that first-class professional edit? Lower the music, moron. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the likes, the links, the subscriptions. You can find me on YouTube and Facebook and soon on Twitch. You can always find the podcast on the Drake Podcast at gmail.com. At the drakepodcast.com. You can always reach me at the drakepodcast at gmail.com. Don't forget to check out Best at Sea Tours. Lots of great hosted cruises coming up. And remember, Best at Sea Tours is a full-service travel agency when it comes to cruises. We have clients that are on Regent, they're on Oceania, they're on Cunard, they're on Holland America, they're on Princess, and they're with their partners on Crystal. Have a great Tuesday, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And I'll look at you tomorrow. Oh, you look at me. I don't know why.